Hello everybody, Buddy Webb here in Midland. I got a Facebook post today that I wanted to share with you that I thought would make a good video, if you're not on Facebook, then you could see it. Let me show you. Okay, and what I named it here was "Were They Caught Covering Up Murders?" And I put a timeline in there, and I have a couple pictures, and we're going to look at that here, individually look at these pictures. But this is a real short read here. On May 28, 2019, this was last year, of course, I provided Homeland Security evidence which I believe could solve multiple murders and stop this crime ring. On July 2nd, 2019, I showed Homeland Security where I believe the tunnels were located at behind Home Depot and my home. I believe these were used for the 2010 oil show parties where I was told about a young girl who was murdered when she refused to prostitute. The remains of a young girl were found in 2013. Okay. And on June 19th, about 2 weeks later, concrete is being poured in the same place that I just showed Homeland Security that I believe the human trafficking murder tunnels were at 2 weeks before. Yes or no? Were they caught covering up murders? Okay. This is a screenshot from a video right here, and I'll show you the link here in a minute. And then the short read. On July 2nd, 2019, I was here with Homeland Security agent Paul and showing him where I believe the human trafficking tunnels were at that were used for people going to the 2010 oil show party where I was told about a young girl being murdered when she refused to prostitute. On July 19th, 2019, concrete was being poured here. The remains of a 14 to 21-year-old girl were found outside of Midland in 2013. I thought Homeland Security was supposed to stop human trafficking and not cover up for them, okay? And so, like I said, this is a video. You can actually see the concrete coming out of the truck. And this is the back of Home Depot. On the other side of this dividing wall is my alley, and my home is right there, okay? And so, and then the second picture I have is from Google Earth pictures, okay? And what we're seeing here, the top building is the Home Depot store, Midland Home Depot store. This is the secluded truck unloading lane. There's a line of trees right here, okay? Here's the alley behind the house, and here's my home right here in the Fair Circle cul-de-sac, okay? And so what I was showing on this picture is look at the color of the asphalt behind Home Depot. You can tell real clear where that was cut right here. It looked like a ditch, big tunnel ditch was cut, and you project it out, it comes directly at my house. Okay, I mean, that's so easy to see. I gave this picture from Google Earth. You can look it up on Google Earth historical maps right now. I gave this picture to Homeland Security in that packet of evidence that I had provided to them because I believe that them famous and wild oil show parties were being held in the underground homes said to be near my home, okay? And it looks like one of them is in my backyard right here, a 3-bedroom, $1 million underground homes, 25 foot deep, okay? A guy that used to live in my house, I have a screenshot named Ricky Ronaldo. He contacted me, said, I used to live in that house. And I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah, me and my brother used to go in the tunnels under it when we were kids. And here I'm showing, this is where inside my house I was ambushed and shot. Somebody under my home shoots me, and so that's what I was showing here with them two pictures. And this is where they were pouring concrete. I was back here with Homeland Security on July 2nd last year showing them this is where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnels are at. And 2 weeks later, the ground's being dug up and they're pouring concrete in there. And that's why the question was asked if Homeland Security was involved, was working with these human traffickers that are murdering little girls to help them get away with these crimes. And it's a very valid question. And so I have some comments here I want to show you here. It says, I made this video about an hour before meeting with Homeland Security at the Midland Police Department on May 28, 2019. It shows the evidence that I provided with them. And here's evidence provided to Homeland. And we're not going to watch this video, but when I made this, it was really kind of like a proof video. I didn't plan on posting it. I didn't post it until,
May 28,
I just felt like they were
2019.
Not operating on the right side of the wall.
Till 9 in the morning. Get you the timestamp right here of my security system. And I'm making this video. I don't plan on posting it. It's just a proof video. Here at 10 o'clock, I have a meeting at the Midland Police Department with, I think his name's Paul Cervantes, and he's with Homeland Security. And I want to talk to him about specifically the human trafficking and then the related crimes, the murders, the burglaries, the theft, the fraud, and all the other, the capital attempted murder, my life, the medical crimes and all that. I've been working for a couple of days making created a 3-ring binder of evidence files, and then I also have a flash drive with videos and the files on it, and that's what I'm going to show here. And because I'm going to give this to him, but I want this record of it. Okay, and so for the cover is a letter from Congressman Conaway, okay, that I got in 2015, where he
Okay, so anyway, if y'all want to watch out, y'all can go find it on my YouTube channel. But what I'm showing is that I provided this evidence-filled packet that I think could solve multiple murders and stop this crime ring to Homeland Security on May 28th last year, okay? And then my next comment is, these are text messages from Homeland Security Agent Paul on July 2nd, 2019, the day that I showed him where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnels were located at behind the Home Depot store. I got the feeling that he was trying to talk me into selling my home and moving. I sent him this video saying that I would sell my home, but the price is $1 billion. And I have a video called Decided to Sell My Home. These text messages are, and I'm pulling it up now, they come in July 2nd, okay, 11:40 in the evening, or AM 11:40. That sounds good. Thank you. We'll be headed that way. Sounds good. We're leaving now. Should be there in 15 minutes. We're parking lot in the Home Depot in a white Ford. Okay, this is Paul. Okay, PH there, whatever. We're standing outside our vehicles on the nursery side of Home Depot. Okay. And there was more, and basically when I got to the Home Depot store, Paul surprised me and says, I don't understand why you don't just sell that house if you're living under the threat of death. You know, and that just caught me off guard, you know, because I hear I'm thinking, wow, hey, we finally found some good cops. They're going to stop this murder ring, you know, and then all of a sudden he's acting like one of the criminals trying to terrorize me from my home, you know, and you know they're trying to, you know, I'm reporting crimes going on. The cops are looking the other way, and then people are going, I don't know why you don't sell that home, you know, and so I sent him this video that I made, you know, and he replied back, buddy, let's get something clear. I was not trying to talk you into selling your home today. I simply asked you why you wouldn't consider selling your home if you continue to feel threatened in there. I'll ask you to please not twist my words into saying something that I didn't say. Remember, this entire conversation was recorded. I would love to take that entire conversation and post that on YouTube. I'm telling you that, okay? And so but the good thing is he admitted to it, right? He admitted that he asked me. And I've compared this to the bank being robbed, you know, and the police showing up saying, I don't know why you don't just sell that bank and move somewhere else, you know? Ain't that the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? You know, the police showing up and telling you to sell your bank, you know? I'm saying I have crimes committed in my house, and you're asking me why I don't sell my house? Why don't you arrest the criminals? That, you know, that's my point. Anyway, July 2nd, Paul was here. That's a fact, you know, and I showed him, we were behind Home Depot, and I showed him where that was, you know. And in that video right here, and I'll pop it out in a minute, is this meme I made, and I said this is just a small sample of the number of people who have asked, suggested, ordered me to sell my home and move while I live under the threat of death. It's become clear that this gang who tried to murder me inside my own home is working together to terrorize me into selling my home and to selling. This is because they know this home will prove the underground access here and expose the many other crimes and murders. This is a textbook definition of a violation of the Hobbs Act, as you can't conspire with others to terrorize a property owner into selling their property. Furthermore, I proved they only wanted me to sell my home at the price they set because I had no takers when I offered to sell it for $1 billion, okay? And I was making a point, you know. Well, if you want me to sell my home, okay, here it is, $1 billion, buy it, you know. Oh, now we know it's all about the price, you know. Oh, you want to terrorize me out, but you want me to sell at the price you want, you know, because if you want me to sell it, just buy it, you know. And the only reason I'm selling it's because you're terrorizing me, and police ain't doing nothing nothing about it. And here's the Hobbs Act right here, you know. And then it's basically extortion or attempts to conspires to terrorize a homeowner or a property owner and selling their property. It carries 20 years in prison, okay? Often involves public corruption, as is the police look the other way while the crimes are being allowed to be continued because they want to buy your oil wells for $1 or your home, right, at the price they set, okay? These are just some of the death threats I got, you know. Fast forward 2 weeks, Mr. Buddy Webb is nowhere to be seen, you know. He's spreading this all over the internet. He's gonna wind up in a hole, you know. You will be silenced, not if but when. Another guy says you got two choices, you know, move or meet God early, you know. And then it's move. Some of them are nice, some of them are suggesting, some of them people order, you know. Here's one: sell and move the F out, you moron. You know, I mean, just hateful people. You know, this is my lifetime savings. I worked my whole life to pay for my home. It's most people's greatest investment. You know, it's not some small thing to sell your home, you know. And they're trying to terrorize me from my home with using corrupt police looking the other way while they break into my home, okay? And here's that video if you want to go watch it. It's called Decided to Sell My Home. And, you know, basically it just comes from the fact that, hey, if you want to buy my home so bad, buy it, you know. And I go over all the move comments, and I go over the Hobbs Act, you know, the law, what the law says about conspiring with others to buy, you know, to terrorize a property owner into selling property, okay? The next one, I made this video in July 19, 2019, where they showed they were pouring concrete in the same location as where I'd been with Homeland 2 weeks earlier. I suspect they were filling in the human trafficking tunnels to cover up the multiple murders and many other crimes committed here. Okay, I have a video here. And so remember on July 2nd here, I was showing Homeland Security. I was back there right at this location with Homeland Security, showing them here's where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnels are at. And I was under the impression Homeland was supposed to stop human trafficking, not to help pour concrete and cover it up.
American Storage Center right by
okay, and next to the Home Depot store is a storage center, and they actually were doing garage sales that one of them days. And so I was back there garage sale hunting, and that's when I decided to make this video.
While I'm here, I think I'll take a picture here. This is where
my home is right there.
Concrete work.
We was right there with Homeland Security 2 weeks before.
See, I was just there 2 weeks ago with the Homeland Security agent, showing them where I was.
That's got to be embarrassing if you're a good law enforcement officer. I mean, you have got to be embarrassed about that. I mean, that's just blatant in your face corruption. You know, we'll break in your home, murder you, and stop the press from reporting it. What are you going to do about it? You know, that's what it is. Okay, let me show you the next one. On July 31st, 2019, remember July 29th, 2019, they're pouring concrete, okay? July 2nd, I showed them where to pour the concrete, right? And so Representative Mike Conaway from Midland, Texas, announced he plans to retire at the end of his term during a press conference in Midland. It was found out that his late brother-in-law used to live across the street from my home, where it's believed the underground oil show parties were held and where a young girl was murdered at in 2010. I spoke with Conaway on the phone in 2019, met his staff. I have a whole video on Conaway, okay? This is just a news link from The Hill. Texas lawmaker Conaway announces he's going to retire, okay? Announced it. And notice the timing on when, on the 31st, Conaway announces he's going to retire. On the 19th, they're pouring concrete in the tunnels across the street from his late brother-in-law's house, you know. Stinks up to high heaven. Here's the next one. The late brother-in-law of U.S. Congressman Mike Conaway used to live across the street from my home, and the question was asked if he was connected with the underground homes and tunnels. I just made a video called Congressman Conaway in the Midland Tunnels right there, and I'm going to click on that. Y'all can watch that if you want. The brother-in-law of U.S. Congressman used to live across the street. And so there, it's on my YouTube channel. That's a newer video. And interestingly, the current owner of this house, I'll show you, is a William Wilson, okay? And what I found out was the wife of Congressman Conaway is Suzanne. Here it is. Suzanne, that's the wife of a congressman. And she's got a sister named Marsu Wilson. Okay. And the current owner is William Wilson. So I'm wondering, I wonder if that home across the street is still in the Conaway family, you know? And so that's kind of interesting. Also interesting about this home at 3809 Fair Circle is a person that lived there when I moved in here, Brandy Merrill. She married Daniel Price. So the person living at that home, at the Conaway homes, what I call it, was Daniel and Brandy Merrill Price, and Brandy used to own my home. She's the one that sold it to Mike Lawn, and then he mysteriously dies and it's sold to me. Okay, and so I just wanted to kind of show you that history there on that home. Okay, moving on October 11th, 2019, okay, just another month later, month and a half, President Trump announced Friday the resignation of Kevin McClellan, the acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. I suspect it was because Homeland Security was caught covering up human trafficking murder tunnels in Midland, Texas on July 19, 2019. It's believed these tunnels were used for underground oil show parties where a young girl was murdered at in 2010. The remains of a young girl were found outside of Midland in 2013. Okay, that was 3 months later. So 3 months later, and I had been making videos and posting, and I'm sure, you know, I'm thinking, the reason that the Secretary of Homeland resigned is because they got caught pouring concrete in the human trafficking murder tunnels. You know, that was my guess. And then just a couple days after that, Energy Secretary Rick Perry announces that he's going to resign. Perry was the governor of Texas when I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home, and also and was reporting to suspected tunnel the DA. He was also governor during the time the 2010 oil show parties were going on. It's believed the young girl was murdered at an underground party for refusing to prostitute. And you can see how oil show parties and Secretary of Energy go together, right? So Rick Perry resigns, well, you know, within a week after when the Secretary of Energy resigns, the same time Secretary of Homeland resigns. I believe it's all because of Midland. Interestingly, I emailed Rick Perry when he was governor on December 15, 2014, the rape and murder story, which was about the young girl being murdered at the 2010 oil show party, which had police present. This was the day that the secret police and Midland K-9 police officer Chad Simpson was alleged to have murdered his wife, Sandra Simpson, and killed himself. This is the rape and video, which has had over 40,000 views. So this is the actual email that I sent to Rick Perry on December 15, 2014. Rick Perry was, you know, should be familiar with the underground facilities, the oil show parties, and the rape and murder, because see, my friend was at that party and she was afraid to report that murder and said that high-level police were at the party, you know, and so anyway, I'm contacting, and I also contacted the Attorney General, which happened to be Greg Abbott, who's now governor. Okay, and so I think that Rick Perry has known about this for a long time. Okay, and here's the video that's had 40,000 views. This is an older video called Rape and Murder 9 Minutes, posted in 2015, almost 41,000 views. And that's a story, like I said, about one of the secret police that went on to murder his wife and kill himself allegedly. Now keep in mind, Chad Simpson was identified 6 years later by Empire Private Investigations, but his name was not on the police report that was illegally withheld for 7 years. Also dead is Naylor, the late Midland Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor. He died 2 months before Simpson, and the question's been asked if, well, I wonder if maybe some of them other secret police murdered them, silenced them because they were going to testify against them because of the crimes here, you know, which involve murders, right? Okay, so this reminded me of what happened in 2015 when the live tree was taken out behind Home Depot. You know, I was suspecting a tunnel entrance over there. I was posting it on Facebook. It's set next to side-by-side manholes, and I was suspecting that one of those manholes was connected to tunnels going to the underground home and my home. Also taken out around this time was another suspected tunnel entrance in the backyard of my next-door neighbor. Now, once again, these are time-stamped Google Earth pictures, okay? This one here is in 3/31/2008. I wasn't living here at the time, and Mike Lawhon was living here in this house, and he was alive. I'm showing that there's no suspected tunnel entrance in the backyard of the neighbor's house on that date. Okay. On the next flyby that I got a Google Earth picture on December 2009, Mike's dead. Okay, and I transferred in from out of town. And sometime in that period, this suspected tunnel entrance got put in this neighbor's backyard. Okay, and then down here on this date in October 2014, I'm just showing that it's still there, and that gives me a time frame. This is my house where I was ambushed and shot in 2012. Okay, but here's where it gets interesting, because by April 2016, it's gone. Okay, see, they took it out. They removed that tunnel entrance that was in the backyard of the neighbor's home, and at the same time, this live tree was removed behind Home Depot. That had the two side-by-side manholes, and I suspected one of the manholes was connected tunnels coming to my house. The next comment, this is a picture of the two side-by-side manholes next to where the live tree was removed in the suspected cover-up. I took this picture and emailed it to Midland Chief of Police Price Robinson a few months after I survived being ambushed and shot by somebody under my home 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DEA. You know, if we had legitimate press, then they could do a Freedom of Information Act and request the emails that I sent Price Robinson, Chief of Police Price Robinson, in 2012, and see that I had sent him this picture. The lid off that manhole, the west manhole, there was two manholes about 6 foot apart here. One's on this side over here, and I believe this one that had the lid off for so long, it was connected to pipe that went over to the underground home and to my home. Okay, and you know, and then I'm suspecting the people in the attic, they were coming over, meeting the truckers, doing it, or like organized crime, like a truck stop, like lot lizards, and they were running this 24/7 sex trafficking business right in the middle of town, you know, and that's what I had sent to the chief of police, and right after, a few months after I'm ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. Here's a video from July 7, 2015, which shows that the live tree had been removed by this date. It shows the two side-by-side manholes that I suspected were being used for sex trafficking connected to tunnels going to my home. And the reason I'm going over this, because once again, it's like cover up behind Home Depot. You know, I showed them where the tunnels were at. They're pouring concrete, and you know, and here I'm going, look at these manholes here, and all of a sudden they're taking this tree out. You know, this is a video you can go watch. It's called "Is This a Sex Trafficking Tunnel?" This one had almost 25,000 views. Okay, and I want to show you here. This is the other side of the wall. The missing tree. Okay, it's missing by July 7th, 2015. Right there, the missing tree.
Right here. Notice where that manhole is right there. There used to be another one right next to it. Maybe, I don't know where it's at. There was two side by side. I got pictures of them. I only see one.
There's one.
There's the second one right there. And the lid was off that one.
I'm moving, but there's two of them there. So so there's another video, but the other thing it did, that time frame of when they removed that live tree was shortened. So I know that the live tree was removed in 2015. Legitimate law enforcement might want to be, you know, talking to people and find out when, where, why that live tree was removed, because I believe it was to cover up the you know, a tunnel that was used in connection to the crimes here. Okay, next one. This is a picture of the suspected tunnel entrance in the backyard of the neighbor before it was removed. That happened around the same time as the live tree was taken out. I have a video called Tunnel Entrances showing this, okay? And I want to show you, basically use a Google Earth picture, and I zoomed down to show you this. Okay, this was a ground covering, looked like a storm cellar type door. And remember, we know when it was put in and when it was taken out. These big pieces of plywood here are leaned against this shed that he built, and it blocks my view from the ground. So from the ground, I couldn't see that right there. And here, interestingly, is a water well, and I have another video called Water Well and Underground Homes, and I went around to the neighborhood, actually mortar problems. My house has a mortar problem, and there's a water well nearby, and I went and found two other homes near me that had water wells and had mortar problems, and I'm thinking, I'm suspecting that's where, because I was told there was 4 3-bedroom underground homes, and I'm suspecting that might be where the other ones are. But right here, I think that was a tunnel entrance. I mean, at nighttime, I would see flashlights out here, hear people talking in the middle of the night, you know, around this area right here. And but then, you know, it's like instead of arrest made, it's just cover up. And so you can see the similarity, but you know, between that and what happened with the concrete being poured. So the big question here is Homeland Security helping human trafficking crime rings cover up murders and human trafficking. You know, and is the reason that Homeland Secretary McClellan and Rick Perry resigning, and Conaway saying he's he's a retiring is because of Midland, Texas. Talk to you later.